Yeah, but you could see it coming. He was improving. Q2 he was close, and then in Q3 he made another step, which we also predicted. But yeah, I couldn't react on that. I took quite a bit of risk, and at my lap, but I think it was quite good.
Yeah, did you leave anything out there, do you think? I mean, we saw you getting so close to those walls, and some people get away with it, others don't.
Yeah, I think the last sector maybe a bit, but, everybody has that. In a street circuit, you never have a perfect lap. So, I'm very pleased. I think the weekend in general was a good build-up. We improved the car, and I think in qualifying, I had the best balance I've had so far in the weekend, which is also very positive.
Just finally, what's the game plan for tomorrow? How are you going to win this race? Has it got to be done at the start?
That would be a big help, yes. So I'll focus a lot on the start. If it's not, then you settle for second into turn one, and then you see what happens during the race, because it's such a long race, a lot of things can happen.
Thanks, Max.
Max, well done.
Thank you, Lee. Will Seb even think about the fact that Max Verstappen's right behind him? I mean, is that his worst nightmare? Would he even prefer Lewis behind him as compared to Max? Because you know how much of a wild card Max can be.
Yeah, Max is committed, isn't he? And he's already told himself it's about the start. So whatever happens, even if he doesn't quite get the launch, he's going to go for it. That's his chance to win.
And he's on the dirty side of the grid, so which I think there's a little bit here in that. So it'll be interesting to see how the first, the first sort of 30, 40 metres go on that. But I think Sebastian will be pretty composed. Mate, his stun starts with Pastor Maldonado around him, so don't worry about it. He's pretty, he's used to.
There's a name from the past.
He's had all sorts around him. And Max is, Seb's a cool cat. He'll just get down to turn one and brake.
Just before you say what you're about to say, I disagree with it.
Yeah.
Well, why should we change the habits of a lifetime, DC? Yeah. But the reality is, I have a sneaking feeling. Remember, you heard this first. I think Max Verstappen will lead into the first corner.
Lead into the first corner?
You heard what I said?
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree.
Everyone disagrees, so that's great. So,
tell you what, let's hear from Christian Horner, who's with Karun right now.
Christian, close, second and third on the grid, but not quite enough for Paul. Yeah, I mean, to get on the front row, that's a great result. Second and third, right up there. Unfortunately, when you get to that end of the quali, we just don't have the power modes to go with them. But nonetheless, a great performance by the team and both drivers. So we've got good race pace. Hopefully, we can take the race to Sebastian tomorrow.
I mean, Sebastian's been on pole twice in one of your cars here. He is good here in qualifying, isn't he? And did you think, though, that after the first runs you had a chance on the final run?
You always, we've been quickest in every session, including each of the qualies, and then the one that really counts. We just didn't quite have enough to convert it. But nonetheless, enormously positive results, second and third, and it's a long race. It's the longest race of the year tomorrow. We had great race pace yesterday, and I'm hoping that will carry through into tomorrow.
We saw Max have a little gearbox issue in FP3. Any real concerns for reliability? It is a hard race here, isn't it?
It was an electrical issue. We changed the steering wheel. It sorted it out. So hopefully that's now resolved and sorted.
And finally, on strategy, is there anything really innovative, or is it just going to be a question of watching who blinks first for that pit stop?
It's going to be fascinating, I think. With safety cars, it's a long race here. So it's going to be really interesting to see who does what.
Thank you very much.
You just can't call it. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, DC, do you?
No, that's great. That's fantastic. That this big change in the regulations has brought us to this point. We know who the battle for the World Championship is, but the constant evolution of these cars sees Red Bull right in the mix.
Yeah, we've called it the season of the yo-yo 2017. Extraordinary to think at the end of tomorrow, Vettel could be back in the top spot, 12 points clear of Hamilton.
He could well be, mate, yeah. But the safety cars is an interesting point tomorrow. I mean, I'm not a big fan of when they pop them out for, small things like a little bit of debris here and there. I know it's a topic now, but hopefully they're not trigger happy with him tomorrow and let the boys race. But in terms of the timing of the safety car, and they're going to have all the simulations loaded tonight. They're going to be rolling that through now with the grid positions in place. All the teams will be working through that, and every single time they'll have a scenario built into their math, if you like, when the safety car might be deployed. The pit, where they won't pit two cars. Red Bull have got two boys there, right? So there's one Ferrari. Can they split? Can they jump? So there's so much more to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.